Welcome back to your channel. My name is Brad, and can strategy, MSTR, save FEPI? We'll talk about AIPI, and we'll also talk about CEPI. That's what you're interested in. Stick around. Well, first of all, I think FEPI moves in channels. When I look at the price action, and this is just price, not total returns, I'm just looking at it from a price standpoint. What I see is they move in channels. And that's one of the reasons I really didn't like it, because I don't think long term it can and may not regain back to the original pricing. But you can see that it clearly moves sideways in a channel, and those channels have gone down slowly. But we'll see how it plays out in the long term. I am still tracking this, and who knows? Who knows what happens? And just a FYI, Seeking Alpha is still having their special going on. So if you're thinking about becoming a Seeking Alpha member, right now is a great time to do it. Now, breaking news. FEPI added strategy to it, MSTR. It dropped Adobe. That's what it did. It dropped Adobe and it added MSTR. But let's look at the actual calls, and this happened on the 18th according to their data sheet. So when I pulled this up, I see where their calls are. First of all, they added strategy to it, and I'm sitting there looking at it going, I think this is very interesting, but still not going to jump in with any kind of money into this, because I still say there is other players out there that you might be interested in. But you can see where their current strikes are, and they only sold on FEPI one strike for each one of the underlyings. If I quickly look at AIPI, they did the same thing. They sold one strike for every one of the underlyings. This sheet actually shows you Friday's close, and it doesn't show you the 18th close when they actually did the calls. But you can see it was a very red day for a lot of the underlyings of AIPI. Now I went back and I decided, hey, I need to give it a fair chance and go back and look at the 18th close to see exactly where they wrote how far out of the money. In doing so, I came up with some numbers that I cringe when I see. So let's go ahead and bring them up. When I looked at this, I said, okay, Amazon's 8.23 out, AMD 6.5. Those all looked really good. I get down to Palantir 3.6 out of the money for FEPI. Microstrategy is only 5.6 out of the money for a complete month. That just doesn't seem quite right to me. And Tesla is only 2.4 out of the money. And this is on close of the 18th when they wrote those new calls. AIPI? Well, let's see here. Well, we already have one in the money. Now, that's interesting. They sold it at the money or in the money when they sold it. You can see that NVIDIA for a whole month is only supposed to go up 3.1%. Palantir is getting that 3.6%. Average calls for FEPI, 5.5 out of the money. Average calls for AIPI, 3.46 out of the money. These were the calls they made on the 18th and how far they were out of the money at the close on the 18th. Now let's quickly look at CEPI. If I looked at those, and these are the calls that they had written on there, and the prices are Friday's pricing. Again, a red day. And you can see where they are. The one that got me was somebody wasn't paying attention to coin, because they're already 15% into the money. That's interesting, especially since they just wrote those calls. And they must have already had those calls written. Now, one thing that jumps out at me is International Broker, IBKR, 328%. That just doesn't seem right. And all honestly, I've double checked. So let's quickly bring that sheet up. Yes, International Broker, according to their data that they provided to me off of their website, was at 220 straight price. Well, International Broker is trading in the mid 50s. So you can see how far that is out of the money. Don't know, didn't get into it, and maybe International Broker is doing a 4-to-1 split. I don't know. Or maybe it's going to reverse split or forward. I don't know. It's doing something. That number just isn't right. We'll just go ahead and say that number is not right. But hey, I can only go off of the data that they provide me. Now, I've kind of said, hey, I got out of FEPI and I got out of AIPI. I still believe in FEPI and AIPI because I believe in AI and I believe in the underlyings. But I think there's a better way of playing it. And I don't believe in all their underlyings. Let's face it, they still own Intel. Why is Intel both in both of those funds? It has not performed. It continues not to perform. They rate the calls really close to the money. You know, it's like trading at $21 and a rate of 22 call. I don't know. That one just puzzles me why it's still there. But hey, I don't run the funds. It's not mine to say. It is just not for me. I do like a lot of the underlines. I like NVIDIA. I like Facebook. I like MSTR. There's a lot of them I like. And I'm telling you, I still think there's a better way of looking at this. Let's quickly bring up NVIDIA on a chart. And I've looked at NVII also from Rex shares. So I'm not jumping away from Rex shares. NVII is up 8.94% since the start of their fund. NVIDIA is only up 7.96. NVIDIA is only up 6.71. So they're beating the underlying. Really 20% extra leverage than the standard price. So that's how it works. It's going to go down faster, but it also goes up faster. And this is how you can recover. NVII is beating the underlying. Also, NVIDIA is beating the underlying for the short time for NVIDIA. I just look at this going, hey, with that 20% leverage, I should be able to do slightly better than a FEPI or an AIPI with NVIDIA, with constantly getting capped at that 5-6% where they wrote. So, hey, I'm just going to take this and go. I'm going to go with other players and still try to play a lot of the same stocks, just made them a lot of individualized. So until next time, God bless.